Well, hello, friends. Good afternoon. This is Ernest Sears Jr. coming to you from SOS Consulting. And last time I was with you, we were discussing the importance of giving positive feedback, praise openly and in public, but constructive criticism and discipline in private. And I explained the reason why this is something that you wanted to do with your teams, whether you be in corporate America, whether you have business partners, in your friendships, your kids. That is a tenet that has taken me far. And when I am coaching other leaders, they have found that this will allow them to build integrity, to build relationships, to build trust. Always make sure that you're praising people openly, but giving them constructive criticism and feedback privately. They're going to be more open to it if you do it privately and allow them to save face and maintain their dignity. What I want to talk about today is building your bench. Another way to describe that is succession planning. And before getting into the depths of that, I think there's some framing and a little bit of a foundation I need to set before going into that, what it means. I talked several times ago, I talked a little bit about situational leadership and how you really have to go through a process of asking questions and assessing those that you are leading, those that you are coaching, to determine what their specific level of skill is, their level of expertise in a particular area. And based on those results, then you know the type of leadership and guidance that they require in order to continue to develop. For example, if you're dealing with someone who is completely new and green to a particular area of expertise or a particular area of knowledge, if they're green, they don't know anything, then it doesn't make any good sense for you to interact with them assuming that they have some grasp of it, assuming that they have some knowledge of it, and assuming that they can make decisions in that area. That is not a good assumption based on that person being green and new. A better assumption is that they don't know anything, right? Because they're new, they're green, and you have to be more directive. You have to engage in what is called telling when you're dealing with someone who is completely new about a subject or in a particular area or skill, right? So let's go ahead and let's talk about the process in getting someone to the point where, you know, they start with what is called in situational leadership too, it's called D1. So a person is D1. This means that they're completely green. They don't know anything about this topic. They see you as their leader. They see you as the person that's developing them. They trust your guidance. They trust your judgment. And they are expecting you to lead and guide them in the right way and until they get to that next level, right? This is the contract, the contract that happens between the two of you that's unspoken, that you're going to guide them where they need to go and they're going to trust you. So in that situation, there's a lot expected of you, the leader. So if someone is D1 and kind of meets the criteria I just talked about, then you're going to lead them with S1. And S1 is you're the situational leader. So you're going to be in that first gear with them, okay? You're going to first gear, and you're leading them with direction. You're telling them what's going to happen next. You're giving them an idea of the history of that particular thing. You're giving them examples. You're leading by example. You're telling them what to do. You're telling them what to expect. Once you tell them what to do and what you expect happens, you say, remember I told you this would happen? See it happen. All the time you're building their confidence in themselves. You're building, you're reinforcing their knowledge of that particular topic. And also you're building their trust in you. And so they're relying on you all the time to guide them. So you're dealing with a D1 and you're using S1 leadership style, situational leadership style. Okay? So that's D1 and S1. Okay, now after a couple of weeks or a couple of months or a couple of years, depending on the area that you are leading this person and coaching this person in, then you may notice that this person now has already anticipated a lot of the challenges with this body of knowledge or with the skill, and they are starting to act in a way that lets you know that they know what they're doing to some degree, where they're no longer green. They're no longer someone who you would categorize as green or someone that's just a D1. Now you see that they're exhibiting the characteristics of someone that has a working knowledge of this area, and they have skills that can be relied upon to get certain tasks done. You still will have to check on them, but basically now this person has graduated from D1 to D2. So D2 is someone who is now at the point where they understand the basic tenets of a particular area of expertise. They have a very basic working knowledge and skill level and can follow directions in a way that will get certain tasks done in a way that sometimes is at standard, but oftentimes not quite at standard, but still nonetheless on the learning curve, they're getting to the point where they should be. Another thing I want to say is that if you understand the competence and the conscious and competence spectrum, it goes from unconscious incompetence to conscious incompetence to conscious competence and then to unconscious competence. That is where D1, D2, D3, and D4 kind of fit in. And any area of expertise or any area of knowledge, everybody eventually goes through those particular levels. Unconscious incompetence, you don't know what you don't know, that's D1. Conscious incompetence, that's D2. You know a little bit, but you know what you don't know. You know there's still a lot to learn. D3 is conscious competence. You know what you know. Okay? This is where you want to aspire to be. You want to be in D3. You want to be in a situation where you have a skill set, a skill level, and you understand it, you're able to get things done, and you can be relied upon to meet expectations most of the time. That's D3. Okay? And D4 is unconscious competence. That means you know this area so well that you don't need anyone to tell you what to do, and you know it so well that you don't have to even think. You know it, and you go into action, interacting, and getting things done in a way that is very seamless and very effective, very efficient, and beneficial to everyone around you. Even to the point where you can engage in skills transfer, where you can begin to transfer your skill set to other people. You can leverage other people and show them what you know. That is when you're at D4 and you're at mastery level. Anyway, still laying the foundation for building a bench, right? So let's go back to D2. So in D2, another thing that categorizes D2 is when they're frustrated. So this is someone who is no longer green. They know what they don't know. So there is conscious incompetence. They know they don't know it, and they're frustrated with their level, and they want to do better. And so at this point, instead of you just telling them what to do, you're more selling them. Okay, you've toggled, you've switched gears, and you're now into S2. And S2 as a leader, you are now selling them on this. You're letting them know, number one, the benefits of continuing to learn this, the benefits of continuing education. You are letting them know how good they are. You're letting them know how great of a potential they have. You're praising them. When they do something, you definitely want to reinforce it by giving them positive reinforcement, by giving them high fives and saying, hey, I see that you got these 3 tasks done. Great job. Keep up the good work. I know you're going to be one of my best students ever. You know, I enjoy working with you. As a matter of fact, I can see that you're going to be someone who's going to be able to teach this. I mean, you speak positive things into their lives. You speak positive things into their spirit. You let them know they're going to make it. You let them know that they have what it takes. That's what a D2 needs. and they need S2 from you. They don't need S1 anymore. They don't need you to just direct them and tell them what to do anymore. That is a different level. They're no longer that level. Now they need you to sell it. They need you to let them know how great they are. They need you to remind them of what the benefits are of persevering and sticking with this, because their knowledge level is going to go up. Am I making myself clear? All right. So we've talked about D1 and how a D1 who's new needs an S1 leadership style, a telling type, a directive type style. Then when they move up, graduate to D2, they are conscious of their lack of knowledge. So there's a conscious incompetence. And so now they're frustrated with themselves. They're frustrated with everything. And they need you to sell them on it. They need you to remind them of what the end of the vision that they're looking for, what it's going to look like when they've accomplished, they've achieved mastery, what the benefits are. They need you to sell them on it. They need you to praise them. They need you to tell them how great they are. Okay, that's S2 situational leadership style for a D2. Now, they're at the point where they have a lot of reps under their belt. They've been doing this a couple of weeks, a couple of months, a couple of years, whatever the case may be. But they're at the point now, they've moved to D3 now. So D3 is a level of conscious competence. They know it. They are doing it well. They're getting kudos from other people. They're able to interact with their colleagues and their teammates in a very seamless way. They are happy about their own success. They're getting good feedback from you, and you are going to now use S3 situational leadership style with them, coaching with them. You're not S1 anymore with them. You're not directing them. You're not S2. You don't have to sell them on it. You don't have to be so, like, hey, you're great, you're amazing, you're the best thing since sliced bread. At S3, what you can do is you can just get there with them and participate with them. You can show them now some of the things you know, and kind of show them the way that you do it. You can let them see you do this job as they do it. You can get alongside of them and work with them and participate and kind of check on them and find out what they need. Hey, how can I support you today? So it's more supportive, it's more participative in S3. An S3 situational leadership style is one that is collaborative, it is participative, it is supportive, it is asking more questions. How can I help you? What do you need today? What questions can I answer for you? What challenges have you run in today that I can clarify for you? Those types of things, because you have now made the assumption that they have a really good understanding based on your auditing, because you need to audit what they're doing to make sure and confirm that they are definitely at D3. You need to be covering those in one-on-ones on some periodic basis, whether it's weekly or bi-weekly or monthly, and you need to be giving them feedback on how well they're doing and confirming for them, yes, you know what you're doing, and I am very happy with how you're doing. So that's an S3 working with a person that's at level D3. Okay, got it? Now, moving right along, now this person that is in S3 has a lot of reps under their belt. They've been doing really great. You've been able to rely on them to get their job done. They are an individual contributor and have been doing a great job. But they're getting to the point now they're so reliable and have so many reps under their belt. They've been doing this so many times, so many weeks, so many months, so many years, whatever the case may be, that you now trust them to the point where you can delegate to them other greenies to work with. They can now go and be your mini-me. When you have people that reach to the point where they're your mini-me, it is one of the most fulfilling things ever when you're coaching. So this person knows this just as well as you do, and guess what? Sometimes even more, because they're now on the cutting edge of this discipline. They're on the cutting edge of it, and they are on the outskirts, looking at the cutting edge of what's happening, and you now begin to rely on them to debrief you on what's happening out there in the field. They're debriefing you on the latest and the greatest, and now there is a trust relationship such that you trust them to the point where you are trusting them to train your newer employees or your newer students or your newer proteges, and now they are developing their own following. Okay, are you following me? Okay, This is what happens when you have someone that has moved to D4, mastery. You are now delegating. You're not doing an S1 with them. You're not directing. You're not telling them what to do. God forbid. Why would you do that? You're not, having to sell them on the job and the benefits of it. Why would you do that? They already know it. They're actually selling other people on it. They're not in D3 anymore, so you don't have to be S3. You don't have to constantly ask them, how can I help you? What can I answer for you now? Because they know the answers. They are the expert on it now. And now you're delegating, and you are extolling their virtues to other people. You're saying, hey, Roger over here is one of my best. Go talk to him. He has the answer. If someone comes to you and asks you a question about a customer service question or some other issue that Roger is the best on, you say, hey, I'm glad you asked me this. Go and talk to Roger. He has the answer for you. Roger is one of my best. And hopefully Roger is eavesdropping and hears you praising him. And that gives them even more confidence to continue to be your best, continue to master it, and continue to be someone that you can go to and delegate other tasks to. So there you have it, people. It's D1 through D4, the whole range of conscious competence from D1, unconsciously incompetent, D2, consciously incompetent, there's frustration there, D3, consciously competent, I know what I'm doing, I feel good about it, I have successes, to D4, I'm a master, I'm an expert, I'm unconsciously competent. That means that I have unconscious competence. That means I'm so good that I don't even have to think about what I need to do to make a decision or what I need to do to solve a problem. I've been doing it so much, I'm now on instinct. I know what to do automatically without thinking. That is it. Now, what I want to do, because this has gone over a little bit longer than I expected, I want to now talk about how this situational leadership 2 model actually corresponds to the 4 stages of team development, because a team goes through those cycles also. With forming, that's D1. Storming is D2. Remember the frustration of that person who is consciously incompetent. D3, that is norming. They're at the point where they are, they feel good about what they do. They have some successes. And then D4, unconscious competence. You're so good that you don't even have to think about it. And that's when you're performing. So forming, storming, norming, performing, D1, D2, D3, D4. Building your bench is building as many of those D4s as possible who can take your place at any given time. That is what you do to build your bench and put together a succession plan. The question is, how long does it tell you to get someone through the pipeline to go from D1 to D4? Depending on the job title, depending on the part of the company they're in, depending on the levels of expertise that are required for that particular position in that particular area of knowledge. So thank you, everybody. I think I went a little bit over, but I really wanted to go into a little depth on situational leadership, building your bench, and having a succession plan. Thanks so much, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.